1 quarter to halfway mark to be catching it.
Then it goes to 4.
Good morning and welcome to the 2023 World Series of Beat Baseball, hosted by Visit Norman, sanctioned by the National Beat Baseball Association. Welcome to Championship Saturday. 4 days in the books. We started with 19 teams. We are down to 2 left standing, and it is a rematch. The Indy Edge, last year's defending champions, the San Antonio Jets, last year's runner-up. The Edge come into this game undefeated, needing only 1 win to capture the title and repeat in this double elimination. San Antonio Jets would need to win this first game to force the if necessary game to follow. David Benny alongside Rosina Foster, my play-by-play partner. We are back at Gillis Ruther Soccer Complex here in Norman off East Robinson Street, where we've been all week. But this time we are at Field 3, the championship field here. Jets and Edge warming up. We're going to have some pregame ceremonies, 1 Hall of Fame induction, a national anthem, and then we'll get the game going. Rosina, we saw these 2 teams yesterday in the winner's bracket final, the game to get to this game, and frankly, it was one of the better games you and I have ever done together, with the Jets doing everything but winning that game. They led by 3 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. The Indy Edge scored 4 straight to snatch the victory away. We've got a rematch now. The Jets think they can win 2 today. Rosina, paint a picture.
So we have a wonderful breeze. It's been stronger every day this week. That more clouds are moving up off the horizon, starting up big fluffy into the sky. As we've moved over to this other field, the grass is fresh. There's no holes. There's no digs. It's going to be moving very quickly out there. We're going to have the San Antonio Jets on our left, third base side. And we're going to have the Indy Edge on our right, first base side. They've all come in off the fields behind us where they were practicing earlier. They were running bases out here in front of us just a minute ago, but it looks like they have all now pulled in.
Similar in nature. You want speed, you got it. You like power, you got it. You like defense, we can give you some of that too. This should be a good one.
Both teams seem to be so far fairly evenly matched. It was a very close call in that last matchup they had, DB. But there's a definite difference on the roster size there between the Edge and the Jets. The Jets are playing with those 8 players, while the Edge have a pretty deep bench sitting over there in case of the need. We do have an announcement coming over from Cassie, our tournament director, trying to get everyone's attention, getting the music turned off from the Thunder bench.
And I think we're about to begin opening ceremonies, Rosina. This is our tournament director, Cassie Hopkins, and then Neil McDonald will be doing player introductions. He will be inducted, along with a couple of us, into the Hall of Fame later this evening. Neil McDonald, the former West Coast Dogs great.
Neil Dog.
Neil Dog. He won 4 or 5 championships. 5 championships with the Dogs. Here we go.
Scott
Hudson was Frank Mathena's player. This was one of his players. Frank Mathena, of course, the head coach and pitcher for the Lone Star Roadrunners. Great team of the 80s and 90s.
So Frank is standing out here in a lightweight long sleeve shirt and khaki slacks with a nice So Frank is now taking the award and handing it over to Scott.
Scott was Frank Mathena's second hitter in his lineup behind Hall of Famer Roy Eubanks for all those years. Excellent defender.
Scott is holding the award up in front of him. He's wearing a cobalt blue jersey shirt and navy shorts.
They called him Scooter.
Albuquerque, Fort Worth, there's 116 out of the 20 World Series, and we owe all of this to the telephone pioneers who invented the ball, and the people from Burrell Sports Foundation came up with modern rules, and I appreciate everybody and everyone that's been supportive, and this is the most important thing I've ever had in my life because I was able to play team sport, which I always wanted. Thank you so much.
Few words from Scooter Hudson. That was his nickname.
From the field, yay, Scooter. Scott Frank standing there with the pitcher, holding the award there.
His teammate, Bobby Blakey, will go in later this evening along with Neil McDonald and somebody else I know.
The official call, we will start the World Series Championship game.
Participated, scored one of the 4 runs to go back to victory. Mike Jackson, he's a veteran, came over from the Colorado Storm. There's Miguel Tella, your defensive ace. Corian White, the hero of yesterday. He hit the game winner. Pitcher Kyle Kennedy, he was a warrior.
Did not see Miguel up there. He is. He's out.
Elijah Boogie Burns, he's a substitute.
Alvin Suarez.
There's Nick Mulheron, he's a starter on this team and a player to watch.
And Johnny Boggs.
Johnny Boggs is the catcher, one of them.
Cindy Ledbetter.
Cindy Ledbetter, we expect her to be a spotter today. There's Lisa, she's got 5 rings spotting for the Thunder. Braden, the catcher. Veteran Sherlock Washington. He was a teammate of mine my very first year. There's Aaron C. He was a big part of things yesterday, too.
Lisa Larkin.
Aaron scored the run to tie it.
Todd Holland. Mike Beatty. Barb Price. Kim Washington. Melinda Best. Amy Bernard.
There's Danny Fabiano, last-minute addition. He was a teammate of Neil McDonald's on those dog teams.
And Mike Malloy.
And that rounds out the edge.
Liam Michaels.
Well, there's a few more volunteers they're announcing. Now they'll read off the Jets. You mentioned the Jets roster. We did some research. This is the smallest roster to play in a championship game since the Chicago Cobras in 1992. And there's Axel Cox. He was a key to their victory.
Zach
Arambula, their fearless leader, leadoff hitter. David Smith, the man with 3 home runs. Ricky Castaneda, who may just be their MVP of this tournament so far.
Sarah Litzler.
Renee didn't make it to the tournament there, but Aaron Almanza did. Double-A had the walk-off against the Thunder 2 days ago. There's Will Guillermo Lopez, El Caballo they call him. Rose Garcia, one of their spotters. Hector Lara, second-year bench player. There's the old Ultimate Warrior, Lupe Perez. Cat Perez, their other spotter. Jeremy Lopez, their pitcher. And David Casares, his catcher.
Those are both of the teams lined up on their baseline benches with congratulations out in the field for all the people who are here in person watching. And hello and welcome to all the people that are listening on the stream. We will have our national anthem here.
B. Yang of the SGV Panthers will be singing the national anthem.
Good morning, lady.
Morning. So we do have them ready out here for the anthem. So there you have it.
Beautiful rendition of the anthem performed by B. Yang of the SGV Panthers. And it's just about all over but the playing here. These two teams won it. The San Antonio Jets are in their 4th straight championship game appearance. They've yet to win one. They're hungry. They know they'll need to win twice today. The Indy Edge are 1 win away from a repeat, from justifying their first championship, which they captured last year. It has been a tougher fight for them this year. They pretty much rolled over everybody last year. This year, they've gotten some stiff competition. A 3-run win over the Fire, a 1-run victory by the slimmest of margins. It came down to the last play yesterday between these two teams. Rosina, I expect a good competitive beat ball game. We've got some of the best players in the world on this field today, and two hot pitchers, Jeremy Lopez for the Jets, Kyle Kennedy for the Edge.
We do have the coin toss is about to take place out at home place. We have both Jason and Jaden Price going over the rules with the captains from the Jets and the Edge. We have Axel Cox, David Smith, and Zach Arambula up for the Jets. There is Corey White, Eric Rodriguez, and Aaron C. up for the Edge. They are on opposite sides of the home plate with Jason and Jaden standing at the bottom and the top of the plate.
Talked to Steve Michaels, the head coach of the Edge, before the game today, and Steve says the team is reasonably healthy and rested and ready to go. They got to take the rest of the afternoon and evening off yesterday after that win over the Jets. Jason Price will be the head umpire for this game. We've got a team of scorekeepers to my left, led by Glenda Cole, also Sylvia Redmond, Karen Lykowski, and Missy Lykowski. Jamie Simpson is our base operator.
It is dropped on the grass. Apparently we're going to flip again. It did not land properly. Sounds like the Edge have won. They were clapping there.
Eric Rodriguez lets his team know, I won again, baby. You think he's not fired up? Eric Rodriguez, a 6-time world champion, and the kid is only 23 years old. He was 16 when he won his first one. He's got one with the Edge, 5 with the Thunder, and he's fired up.
We have both teams headed back over to their bench as all our umpires for the day will be running as all the judges, both in the field, on the bases, and up here at home plate. A quick huddle by the Edge in their light baby blue jerseys with that sound wave across the front of their shirts. There's a huddle going on around third base as all the Jets are kneeling in a circle over there. They're wearing their fairly new jerseys that are black, and it does have the outline of the silhouette for the city of San Antonio. Up in the sky around it are fireworks going off in colors of pink, pale red, mint green, and orange.
The Jets and Edge have met twice this year. This is a true rubber match about to take place. The Jets beat the Edge in Bolingbrook back in June in a local tournament, and of course the Edge won that game yesterday 25-24. Corey White started the 2-out rally in the bottom of the 6th. Justin Howland, Aaron C. tied it, and Corian White won it for the Edge in a game where the Jets were one strike away from victory 3 different times in the bottom of the 6th and just could not knock out the champs.
Looks like the Edge is already ready to go. They've broken up their huddle with very loud chanting over there. The Jets are standing up now instead of kneeling, preparing for their huddle. Hands are all in centered while the Edge is moving out into the field. Nick Milhern with his high knee-high trot out into his position at short right as Eric and Justin Holland head out to left field. Miguel Tello heading out to center. There's the holler from the Jets over there as they finish their huddle and come into the bench to set up their batting lineup.
We'll remind everybody to visit the NBBA website at www.nbba.org if you want to learn more about the sport of beep baseball, the league, our community, our teams, your one-stop shop for beep baseball information, www.nbba.org. The Indy Edge are on the first base sideline. The Jets are on the third base sideline. The Jets will be batting first. The Jets starting lineup, Zach Arambula will lead it off. David Smith, Axel Cox, Will Lopez, Aaron Almanza, and Ricky Castaneda, with David Caceres catching and Jeremy Lopez pitching. Jeremy's been on fire all week long. He's a big reason why the Jets are here.
So we already have Zach up at home plate. They're going to try to get this game moving today. The weather is very hot out here. Zach in his red Nike shoes, feeling the front corner of home plate. Jeremy calling for the ball.
We have a large crowd, as you would anticipate, here for the championship game, as these players and fans have traveled from across the country. And for those of you listening on the live stream, we invite you to sit back and lend us your ears. Enjoy the championship game of the 2023 World Series of Beat Baseball. Rosina Foster on the call.
We do have Jeremy, who's taken a minute to go get some spray paint to remark his position there out in the field, as more and more people are streaming in through the gates even as we speak. I anticipate more people will coming in all the way through, about halfway through this game. Jeremy getting the ball from ump Jason Price, holding the ball up for the outfield to get that, waiting for those sirens.
Players to watch today. The first one up to bat, Zach Arambula. I think the Jets need to get him going. He's been on and off a little bit offensively. The Edge did a good job with him yesterday. And for the Edge, that key is way out there deep. Miguel Tello. If you haven't noticed, if you've been following Beat Baseball, he shows up for the big ones. Here we go.
Winding up with the bat and ready for the pitch. It's going to be just underneath the bat for the first strike of the game.
Arambula was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year.
Solid hit over right. That is going to be foul, as Nick Melharan is already over there sliding in to try to grab that.
Melharan is playing short on the right side. Eric Rodriguez in his usual shortstop spot on the left side. And then you should have, Corey White playing behind Eric there.
Actually, they have moved Justin Holland over there into far left.
And Corey in far right?
Corey is in far right, yeah.
With Corian and Miguel Tello in the middle.
Center.
Deep, short and deep, respectively.
Strong exhale by Zach. And it's going to be just under the outer portion of the bat. Another strong exhale and twisting of the bat twice.
So they basically flip-flop Corey and Justin.
It's going to be a little grounder over there to Eric. He's running late, though, laid down. It went past his feet over there to Justin. But he is going to be safe, putting the first run up on the board for this championship game to the Jets.
Well, my pick to click for the Jets is 1-for-1 now. Arambula did it any way you can get it. Rolling it right through that side of the defense isn't always the best thing to do, but he did it.
Yeah, it was a little surprising that Eric hadn't run over there to get in front of that. But, again, this wind is really strong. He finally did throw himself down, but it was a little too late and just off of the ball.
Every player in this game has played in a championship game before, so I don't expect nerves to be an issue. But still, your very first play of the game, it maybe takes a minute to settle in. Here's David Smith. He's hit 3 home runs in this tournament already.
He's got his base check, and we're ready for the pitch. High pop-up going to be right and just jumping behind Nick as he ran forward to grab it. David is on the base.
That's a dead ball,
everybody is standing around. We're going to have a dead ball check, leaving first base on as we go to check.
If there's a dead ball, it is a replay. Not a new count, but it is a new pitch if the ball isn't making any sound. And
it is a dead ball.
Defense disadvantage. He'll come back and we'll do it again. That didn't take long, did it? 2 batters into the game.
2 batters on the second batter. So we have David making his way back up to home plate again. David was one that had gotten hit in the face with a ball in last night's game.
Recovered to make the play. It was incredible.
He told me after the game, he said, "That's my bad eye anyway. I didn't need it."
All players, of course, are required to wear a blindfold in Beat Baseball to even out the playing field with different levels of visual acuity.
Put them all on the same playing field as Jeremy gets that replacement ball and heads back out, holding it up for the outfield to approve of the sound. Hitting first and third. David pointing at them before winding up the bat. It's going to be a high pop-up foul. Watch out, everybody, over here. It was just to the left of the scorekeeper's table, almost dropping on Neil McDonald's head. Ball back out to Jeremy Lopez. I can hear it beeping strongly at this point. That's ball number 2. Strong exhale by David. Oh, relaxing a little bit. And now back at the ready again. It's going to be a tip of a grounder. That's going to be foul, barely going out 20 feet.
On field 2, that might have rolled over the line, especially late in the afternoon, but that one didn't today, and David Smith doesn't want that anyway.
He knew immediately that that was wrong. Only got about 3 or 4 steps in before stopping.
His game is in the air.
Repositioning the feet, a few hops there at home plate. Another strong exhale. And underneath the swing by about 2.5 inches.
See what kind of 3-strike hitter he is.
And it's going to be a line driver right down the center, dropping to the ground right behind Jeremy. And they're saying safe. That went right past. Most of the players had stopped. I think there's going to be a call for a dead ball, as Miguel Tello was the only one who was continuing to try to look for that. But we have all the umps headed back out to the field to check this one. Edge spotter moving Miguel out of the way as he was trying to find the ball.
It's
another dead ball.
Second dead ball of this at-bat. And again, and I've been saying this all week now, he gets to come back with 3 strikes on him through no fault of his own and try to take another swing, as we are going to have our 3rd ball now of this David Smith at-bat. They did
2 of them that David has destroyed himself.
They did save about 15 or so of the Denver balls for this championship game, but there are Fonzie Medrano design balls in reserve if needed. So balls will not be an issue. It's just going to depend on if we have to switch at some point.
New ball back into play into Jeremy's hand as he holds that up for the outfield.
3 strikes on David Smith. Nobody out, just getting started. Zach Arambula scored. Jets lead 1-0, top of the 1st. Axel Cox on deck.
Quick nod to Jeremy that he's ready. Pulling the bat back up to the shoulder. It's going to be a line driver out into center, right to Corey. It went through his legs. Miguel back behind him trying to back up, and he is going to be safe. Miguel had it up in the air, but too late. A run for David Smith.
What a job by Jeremy Lopez and David Smith staying with that at-bat after foul balls and 2 dead balls to get a 3-strike hit and a score. And Jeremy Lopez, for a second-year pitcher, you wouldn't know it watching him. He is outstanding, especially under pressure. 2-0 San Antonio.
Brings Axel up to the plate. Axel today, he likes to wear quite a few flashy colors there. He's got on some neon green and medium green tie-dyed socks as he waits patiently with his toes on the edge of home plate. And now stepping back after the base check.
Axel Cox almost caught a double play yesterday.
That's going to be a strike just under the bat.
That
was very close.
If he had caught that double play ball yesterday, it would have changed that game.
It's going to just drop, going about 5 feet forward.
They found their contact now. 2 strikes. 2 in, nobody out, top of the 1st.
And and going just over the top of the bat by about 1.5 inches.
3 strikes. There are 4 in beat ball, 4 strikes, and you can take 1 pass ball.
It tipped off the bat, rolling up behind into the catcher's mitt.
And as you can see, if you're new to beat baseball, the pitcher plays for the offensive team. He's trying to get the players to hit the ball.
Another repeat rolling off the top of the bat.
Pitching very quickly is Jeremy Lopez, wasting no time here. Ooh,
And way underneath the bat this time for a strikeout for Axel.
Got to minimize the strikeouts in a championship game with the powerhouse Indy Edge, but 2 in and 1 out. Still a good-looking inning here for the Jets. Top of the first, Will Lopez, the speedster.
This is Will rotating that bat pistol form, resting the bat on his shoulder. More cloud cover moving up higher into the sky. It's almost hit the zenith. Oh, popping up high
Right
over
to
here,
my left.
right to Jamie Simpson's legs. High pop-up over and to left. It's going to land just in front of Eric as he runs forward to grab that ball. And I believe he's calling. See, Jason is called out, but the third baser said safe. We're going to see they're conferring.
They're going to have to talk about this. Eric Rodriguez, the best defender in the league, 2-time back-to-back defensive MVP. He's been on every All-Star team at the World Series since he was about 14, I think. Sometimes he'll get those close calls. He plays pop-up so well. Will's quick.
We had Mike over on the third base side. They've already done conferring there. Headed over to the field.
He's going to reverse this call. If Mike on the third base line, who may have had the best angle of it, said he was safe, he could reverse this.
Headed over here to first base.
Our first close one of the game. And Jason Price will make sure he gets this right.
It was very, very close.
The call on the field was out.
Still conferring. He's out.
And he is going to stay with the call. And you know, in beat ball, unlike traditional baseball, if it's a tie, in other words, if the umpire can't resolve in his mind whether or not it's a safe or an out, he is supposed to call him out. When in doubt, call him out. Tie goes to the fielder. Big play by Eric. I'll tell you what, that was in the air for a minute.
He's going to have Double-A, Aaron Almanza up at the plate.
So after the first 2 score, the next 2 are out. And Aaron Almanza.
Just over his bat by about 2 inches. Solid line drive out just past Eric. He threw his body down. It's behind him. Justin Scram missed it.
He missed
the base. He's coming back. Came back. That was a close call. Could have gone anyway. They both missed. But coming back in time for Double-A on the Jets.
Well, maybe a little of first inning jitters here as we're seeing some interesting things. And that missed base, Aaron Almanza can thank the fast fields for him being able to get back and get to that base because the ball rolled too far for them to recover and get him out. That was an ugly play, but a run scored and a run's a run. It's 3-0 now with 2 outs in the top of the first. Here's Castaneda, the little engine that could at the back end of this lineup.
Little Ricky in the previous games has been wearing his baseball cap and eliminating it about halfway through the game. Today he's starting off without it from the beginning. Base check. Pulling that bat up tight against his hip. Getting a little touch on that as it just barely rolls out there, and it looks like it is going to be fair. Eric scrambling for it. He says he is out. Eric gobbling that up.
Wow, a couple of good plays by Eric Rodriguez after looking a little bit slow on the first ball by Arambula. Runs scored by Arambula, Smith, and Almanza. Edge coming up. Jets lead 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the first.
Jets are heading out into the field, moving quickly here as the Edge is already set up. Eric putting on his batting gloves and starting to head up toward home plate. Still don't have Kyle out on the field yet. The ball is patiently waiting for him. You have Jeremy Lopez hollering from the sidelines at his players for defense.
The Indy Edge batting order, as it was reported to me, Eric Rodriguez leading off. Nick Mulheron will bat second. Corey White will bat third. Justin Holland will bat fourth. Aaron C. fifth. And Corian White will round out the lineup. Those are all household names if you follow Beat Baseball.
Eric has stepped back a bit from home plate as he waits for some tosses there between Kyle and Braden, and he's swinging a couple hard swings with that bat.
Eric
Also
had a tough game yesterday, and he was frustrated at the plate. I believe he was 2 for 7 is what I had him in the game yesterday.
There was a lot of frustration there.
And he's a career 600 hitter, so he doesn't have a lot of games like that.
Calling for the quiet. Field is set. First base and third. Getting just a touch of that. It's going to roll barely past Kyle. Not enough, and will be foul. Had little Ricky already halfway up, mostly into the circle before that foul was called.
Ricky playing short right. Zach Arambula playing short left. David Smith at mid right. Axel Cox at mid left. And then make sure we're square on the outfield. I think that's Will Lopez
on the left. And Double A
Aaron
out
Almanza.
and right.
So the same formation we saw yesterday. This is our 4th game calling the Jets at this World Series, so we've seen a lot of them.
Eric waiting. It's going to be slamming right over into the Edge's bench. I think it caught somebody on their shoulder there. Definitely have to be listening for watch outs.
Heads up, a little friendly fire as he was late, and he lined it into his own bench.
I think he's going to take a pass here, DB. Tapping his thigh as it comes across. Tightening up his, swinging the bat, now retightening the grip.
Eric can hit the ball anywhere, baseline to baseline. Everybody's got to be ready.
And it's going to be foul out on the third base side as a grounder.
So he's hit one foul off to the right, one foul off to the left. It's anybody's guess where it's going to go now.
It's like a little surprise machine when you pop open your toy. You have no idea what you're going to get.
We hope you're picking us up all right out there. The wind is blowing right toward us.
Eric is going to step back as we have a few tosses there again by Kyle and Braden.
The wind is not constant, but it is gusty. Probably gusting 30 miles an hour, I'd say.
Bringing up those clouds. Almost have more cloud cover than sky at this point.
That's a first for the week.
Definitely they've been inching up. Today they are out in full force. Eric back up at the plate. It's going to be a foul ball again as a grounder out towards third. 2 of his fouls so far have been grounders and 1 little spinny pop-off. It's going to be a foul popping off back over to the Edge bench again. Kyle holding the ball up for the outfield. Nice hit on that. That's going to be a foul pop-up on the left, probably about 120 feet out there.
It was his best stroke of the at-bat, but he was a little bit early on it as he continues to spray the ball foul all over this field.
From one side to the other, just got to get it in the middle.
Still a full count on Eric.
One ball, 3 strikes. Wait.
It's going to be a high pop-up. That has been called foul. Coming over to Jason Price.
We saw this in an at-bat in the top of the first with David Smith and Jeremy Lopez, and Smith hung in there and scored a run. That's what we're seeing here with Eric. Bunch of foul balls and full count. Only takes one.
Braden with the glove over home plate. And catching it right back and tipping over into Braden's mitt. His teammates tell him to stay in there and fight. Gonna be another foul coming over here, right back over to Jason again.
Victory belongs to the tenacious, somebody once said, and this has been a tenacious at bat for Erod.
He's getting a solid hit on that one. It's going to be a grounder right over there to Zach, though. Oh, rolled off his arm as he's recovered it.
Well, he got him out. Wasn't clean, but he got him out. Tough at bat for Eric. Good play by Zach. 1 out. Jets looking strong early. They know they need to win 2 today if they're going to win their first ever NBBA championship. They've got 3 second-place finishes.
Got Nick Mulheron up at bat for the Edge, still wearing his purple batting gloves and his purple and gold cleats. Field is set, not much movement there. A couple swings across the plate. Nick pulling the bat straight out in front, and now out the ready. It's going to be a hard foul way behind the Edge bench.
Did you know the Edge and Jets teams formed in the same season, 2016?
And they're a much different looking team.
The Jets moved up the standings every year. They finished 5th in 16, 4th in 17, 3rd in 18, and have been runner-up every year since.
Kyle back in possession of the ball. Nick standing at ease. Pulling the bat up out in front and ready for the pitch. Hard little grounder right over to Ricky. Went just past him. It passed David Smith as he slid past it. And that is going to be a run for the Edge.
Put one on the board for Nick Mulheron. Put the first run of the game on the board for the Edge. It's 3-1 Jets. 1 out in the bottom of the first.
This is Corey White up for the Edge, and yesterday he was wearing his pink cleats. Today he has 1 pink cleat on and 1 white and blue cleat, so he has mismatched shoes there. Might be a lucky shoe. Got a base check. And a solid line drive, foul of the first base.
He ripped it. Didn't get around on it, though. Corey White loves the big stage. If it's a championship game, if there's a big crowd, if there's television, or in this case, live event productions, he tends to turn it up a notch.
Said Double A was out running for that far right hit that stopped and turned around to go back. Corey winding up, swinging that bat over the plate before up over the shoulder. And it's going to be a strike as it drops down under his bat at home plate.
Corey has a home run to his name at this World Series. He did that on Tuesday. A home run is 170 feet or more on the fly. It counts for 2 runs.
And it's going to be a little grounder over there. Zach's going to have to move over there and drop down in front of it. He has it.
Nice job.
That is an out for Zach Arambula. Another one.
Well, both shortstops came to play on defense today. Rodriguez had a couple putouts in the top of the first. Arambula's got the first 2 Jet putouts in the bottom of the first. 1 in, 2 outs, and a chance for the Jets to take control here by winning an inning if they can get Justin Holland, last year's consensus player of the year. You saw him in this game last year. Hit 1 but not 2 home runs.
Absolutely. He's got his base checks now and a quick touch to his cap. And bat up at the ready. Solid line drive over just to the right of Zach Arambula, past Will Lopez's hands, and that is out of here. He has the next run up for the edge by Justin Holland.
That makes the score 3-2 San Antonio. Still 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Justin coming in, trotting for his bench as this brings up Aaron C.
Another right-handed power hitter, Aaron C. There's power up and down this edge lineup.
It's definitely getting windier and breezier as we go. The wind's stronger and carrying that sound even further. Aaron with a quick tap to home plate and his ear attentively listening to Kyle. And a little late on that swing as it goes over the top of the bat.
Base running could be a challenge here in this game with this wind because they're going to kind of be running into it.
Took a pass on that. Is trying to listen to that as it goes by.
That's a ton of wind. They might even have to take a timeout for it.
And high up over the swing. Almost an arching pitch. Aaron removing his feet just a smidgen closer to Kyle. It's going to be a high foul ball over past first base. Coming back to home plate.
We've gone to a full count now here on Aaron C. 2 outs, 2 in the bottom of the first. Runs from Mulheron and Holland. 2 putouts by Zach Arambula for the Jets.
Wind up of the bat and ready for the pitch. And high again, almost like an arch again. Aaron hitting his bat with his hand as he walks away from the home plate as the Jets bring it in.
First edge strikeout of the game, and the Jets win that first inning. And as they say, if you win every inning, you win the game. 3-2 San Antonio as we head to the second. We want to remind you that the 2023 NBBA World Series of Beep Baseball is hosted by Visit Norman. Give a shout out to the folks at Visit Norman, Trent Brown, Steve Gillis here at the complex, and all of the fine folks that have provided logistical support, volunteers, and basically everything we've needed all week long. Shout out to Visit Norman, Oklahoma, okay.
This has brought the Jets back up around to the top of their batting. Zach Arambula waiting at home plate already. Edge taking a little bit longer to go out into the field this time. That wind is now, well, it just died down for a minute. We'll see how long it stays there. Moving Corey on just a hair over there as he points up at the wind. And there it goes again.
Yes, it hasn't been constant, but it's been gusty. And we've been dealing with 100-degree temperatures and above all week long. It's supposed to be in the 80s here on Monday, so this doesn't surprise me at all. We're going to have a lot of wind today. They're just going to have to play through it.
We've just had the umps are now having to put their hands on the bases. The wind is starting to blow the bases over.
Yeah, this is adds a different element now that we haven't had to deal with this week. But remember, we're out here on the Central Plains, folks. There's not a lot of trees. There's not a lot of formations or topography. And when this wind starts blowing, there's nothing to stop it.
Zach winding up for the pitch. I'm getting a piece of that, and it's going short left to Eric, but I did see some fluff come out of that. He's scrambling for the ball, and he is out.
Eric got it. Zach wasn't as fast to the base, and like I said, base running is going to be a challenge here today. It's going to be a challenge for both teams as this wind picks up. Third put out already for Eric Rodriguez. It's a championship game. What else would you expect from the best defensive player in the world?
He scrambled up there quite quickly. Looked like he took an extra second to listen exactly where that ball was, but then quickly grabbed it and had that out. This is David Smith getting that first base and now third check.
Smith scored on that after that long at bat back in the first.
Ooh. High pop up out into far right. It's going to be way past Corey, Smith said, and David kind of curving a little bit there, but coming back to not quite overmiss that base and getting a run for the Jets.
One of the most powerful hitters in the sport, and he went opposite field with power there. Really no shot for the edge. 2 for 2 now for D. Smith. And a 4-2 Jets lead here in the top of the second.
Nice hand clap there as David holds his hand up, coming back up to home plate from his pitcher, Jeremy Lopez. The ball is now bounced back up as Axel waits patiently in the breeze for his chance to put another run on the board. Have all our umpires moving back out into position out in the field. Axel standing with the bat cradled in his arms and his hands up to his chin. Jason getting the call from the field. They are ready. Axel stepping back off a home plate and ready for the pitch. It's going to be another high little pop-up that drops down just behind Nick Milheron. Going over to Corey. It's out of his hands. He's scrambling for it. Not in time.
Corey needed to be a little bit quicker to come up on that back up. Mulheron. Another run in for the Jets and Axel Cox. And it's 5-2 now. San Antonio looking good early.
Will Lopez with that little twist of the wrist of rotating the bat round and around like a pistol there. Now waiting patiently with the bat up on the shoulder, wearing his very traditional red mask.
This is already a much better start for the Jets than last year's championship game, where the Edge took control right from the get-go in the first with that home run from Justin Holland. I believe it was a 7-run first inning or some such, and they stole the initiative and never let it go.
And a little on the inside low on that. Just under the outside edge of the bat.
He struck out Lopez twice yesterday. Lopez has been scoring when he's been putting it in play.
Just barely under the bat.
Full 3 strikes. The Jets don't take pitches. They do not do it.
And that's going to be another strikeout for Will Lopez.
Well, that's tough, and the Lopez connection has been a little bit off and on here, at least in the last 2 games we've seen. He was on fire against the Thunder in that 1-run win on Thursday. Aaron Almanza was the difference in that 1-run win on Thursday for the Jets over the Thunder. He hit the game winner in the bottom of the 6th, leading off the bottom of the 6th. And he scored his last time up.
Aaron with a quick tap out in the grass in front of home plate. And just over the top of his bat as it rolls back over here towards our table. Stopped ahead of time by John Lakowski. Getting a connection on that, but rolling off the top of his bat and back. It's gonna have to... Oh, it's going to be a line foul over on the first base side, about 10 feet out past first.
He stroked it. If he can straighten that out, he's going to have a good shot here.
A little bit of paper blowing across the field there. It is stopped now. Aaron pulling up that left arm sleeve and ready for the pitch. High pop-up into short center, and then bouncing over towards Nick Mulheron. He's got his body on it. And that is going to be out for Nick Mulheron.
Slow to the base, and Mulheron was able to get there and make the play. 2 runs in the inning for the Jets. They lead 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the second. 5-2 San Antonio. Corian White will lead it off for the Edge when they come to bat in the bottom of the second.
It's not much of a lead to really be hanging on for the Jets on this Edge team. They are a champion team. You're 2, 3, even 4 runs is not a comfort zone. Kyle coming out to the pitcher's mound, talking with Jeremy Lopez out on the field, having a discussion. They both have the hands on the hips as they're looking out across the field, facing into the breeze. Edge over on the right side, all getting drinks. Everyone resting, getting some water there. This breeze is just getting stronger and stronger as the day goes on. There's actually over behind us where they have been doing some construction past the field as part of the Parks and Recs. It almost looks like a dust storm out there. There is dirt blowing all over it. You can far across there, you can barely see through it to the highway.
They have not had much in the way of rain.
So hopefully that dust does not blow towards
Here
us.
in central Oklahoma, and did they just reverse the call?
It looks like they've just sent the Edge back out into the field.
They were discussing that. We were wondering what was going on for a second, trying to stall out a little bit. They just reversed that call, and the second inning will continue for the Jets.
And little Ricky Castaneda.
And a warning on number 6 of the Indy Edge. That is Corian. No,
that is Justin
Holland. Number 6 got warned. That announced by Jason Price.
At the scorekeeper's table to our left. Edge still setting back up out in the field since they had been completely all the way in, looking for their chance at bat, having to go back out onto the field. Miguel now set up in far center. Eric Rodriguez rotating his head from shoulder to shoulder. Thumbs up from Eric out in the field.
So 6 runs on the board now for the Jets. Reversed that call earlier, and there's still 2 outs, top of the second.
Just over the top of little Ricky's bat.
Boy, put a star next to that play there. See if that comes up big later in the game as we go on.
Just over the top. I'll definitely be going back to watch that one.
Especially if they score more runs here this inning, if Ricky can get to base.
Just over the top of the bat. Seems like he's been struggling just a little bit offensively.
Ricky struck out to end the first inning, so we'll see what happens here.
Getting a connection on that. Short little pop-up. See if that's going to bouncing up. Nick Mulheron trying to crawl for it, and he is safe. Little Ricky putting another one up for the Jets as they widen those runs.
What do you know? He just keeps finding ways to score out of the 6th spot. He might be their most valuable player on both sides of the ball for this tournament. He has just turned the order. That overturned call now has turned into at least 2 runs here as Arambula comes comes to the plate. It's 7-3, 7-2. 7-2 Jets.
A lot of hoops and hollers there from Jeremy Lopez for his team. Getting a base check for Zach.
The Edge seem a little taken aback here early in this.
High little short pop-up that'll be fouled. Some stuffing came out of that as it went up in the air. And it looks like some of that dust storm that I was talking about earlier, that dust cloud, has actually moved into the parking lot next to us, so it is closer now.
It'll be over us any time now.
Ball back in Jeremy's hands at the pitcher's mound. Zach ready. It's going to be a line driver right along the inside of third base, and it just rolled out foul at third base. That is going to be foul. We'll have to come back. He had almost outrun that ball.
We thought this inning was over a couple of minutes ago. Reverse call on an Aaron Almanza hit, and 2 more have come in.
Anything can happen out here in beat ball world.
On any given Saturday.
Zach making his way back up. Spotters positioning out in the field for the defense.
I'll tell you what, short pop-ups might be the way to go today with this wind, because it's going to be hard to hear them coming down. It's going to make it harder to play the ball. That sound starts gyrating.
Just over the top of his bat.
We're going to lose this tent if we're not careful.
I think that is the tent next to us starting to buckle.
And there's a lot of people under it.
It's going to be a hard little grounder right to Eric, though. Just bounced off his fingers. He's scrambling for it. And that is going to be an out. He did it. He rolled over on his back, held the ball up, determined for that out, bringing the Edge back in once again.
Eric knows how to position his body to make plays. If the ball goes off his fingertip and it's close by, he'll roll over, he'll do a reverse, he'll do whatever he needs to do. You know, these guys, the Rodriguezes, were wrestlers, so they know how to use their body to get into position to leverage, in this case, the beeping baseball. So the inning's over. The Jets put 4 more on the board. They lead by 5 as we go to the bottom of the second.
I think Kyle Kennedy has called a time over there as the Jets are setting up in the field. Axel and Zach making their way out, as well as Aaron backpedaling out into far right. David adjusting his mask out there before turning around. A little huddle over behind their bench from the Edge, from the main lineup. Kyle, not sure what he is saying, but you can tell he is very fervently speaking to them. We've got something. Didn't quite catch all of that. And this does bring Corian White up to home plate.
He's making a speech. I don't know if we would have want to have caught all of that on this here family broadcast. Kyle knows how to fire up his teams, and he'll say what he needs to say to get it done. And Corian White, who was the hero yesterday with the walk-off run in the bottom of the 6th, to win it for the Edge and hand the Jets so far their only loss of the season, will lead it off. Edge chasing 5 right now as we go to the bottom of the second. It's my understanding next inning Jerry Wendell, the president of the NBBA, will join us for a moment here in the booth. Rosina?
It's going to be just underneath that as he stretches out his front foot for a hard swing, about 2 inches under the bat. Back up at the ready. Hard. It's going to be foul on the left, on the third base side, just over the top of and the outside of third base.
Boy, he yanked that.
And he was flying down to first base. And that was actually called foul fairly quickly, and he was still about halfway down.
Corian and then Eric Rodriguez and Nick Mulherron, the first 3 scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the second for the Indy Edge.
Taking a pass on that. Slow little exhale there by Corian. Bringing the bat back up and ready for the pitch. Oh, line driver almost taking out Kyle. It's going down the center. But David stopped, kneeled down, scooped it right up. Wasn't even trying. That's an out for David Smith.
David Smith comes at right wing making that play.
Bringing Eric up to the plate. Eric filling the front corner of home plate as Kyle goes back out to the field a little bit to hold that ball up. And headed back in. Jason has it okay from the field.
Jets defense looks pretty tight considering the wind, and it's just got to be hard to hear out there.
And it's going to be a strike because that slides underneath Eric's bat. Quick rotate of the wrists. Step back off the plate just a hair. And at the ready. And just tipping, coming right back to the camera here from Billy in front of us with the camera.
Billy Nelms and Graham Mathena, live events production. They're out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and they do a great job. They've been here all week. We've had games that have started as early as 6:30.
And a strike as that goes under the bat once again.
We've had games start as early as 6:30 a.m. and as late as 9 p.m. here. So they've stuck it out for us.
It's going to be a little grounder there right behind Kyle. Zach's going to have to move and get up there ahead of it.
He's got.
He is out. Zach did. I had Kyle standing between us.
Another close play.
Zach Arambula with that put out for the Jets.
I don't think they're going to question this. We'll see. That was close.
He is running out to Jaden out in the field.
Yeah, they are going to check. All right. Jason Price, Jaden Price, Mike Woodard, some of the top umpires in the NBBA are on the field for this, the championship game.
Now he is headed over.
He overturned the call. He called him safe.
So that is a run for the Edge.
Boy, Arambula not quite as quick on that as I thought, although he had to come over toward the middle a little bit. So 1 out and 1 in. It's 7-3.
With Nick Mulherron.
Add Mulherron to the plate.
Have that base check. Bat out in front and ready for the pitch. Hard pop up over to Axel Cox. He's laid down almost right in his pocket.
What a play by Axel.
I think all he had to do was open up his short pockets there and it would have dropped right in.
So Smith makes a play, Cox has made a play, Arambula's made a couple, the Jets defense looks tight, and there's 2 outs with only 1 in.
This brings Corey up to the plate with his 2 different colored shoes there.
Forget it. And the wind has now blown my Alabama Crimson Tide hat off, and it's been returned to me. Roll Tide anyway, y'all. Go Bama.
It rolled for sure. Ready for the pitch. Getting a nice little touch on that is going to be inside the first base side. Double-A running for that, but he's not going to have it in time. That is going to be a run for Corey.
Corey White with a fast base run, maybe the fastest base run for any player yet today. That makes it 7-4, second run of the inning.
With Justin Holland, power hitter for the Edge. Wind definitely picking up even more out here, folks.
The Edge have been doing well with 2 outs. Sorry, Rosina.
We just had Kyle coming up to talk to Jason here, trying to see if they can hear that ready in the field. And a base check. Justin grabbing his hat for a second before pulling the bat up. high pop up over into right. It's going to be behind little Ricky. They're scrambling it for it. David over there, but too late. It's going to be a run for Justin Holland.
Little 2-out uprising for the Edge now as they've scored a couple in a row. It's 7-5, third run of the inning.
Now there's only a 2-run gap. As I said, 2, 3, 4 runs. It's not a comfort zone with the Edge right behind you.
No doubt. They can score runs in bunches and do it very quickly from any position in the lineup. And this is the part of the lineup that did so much damage late in the game to the Jets. That 3, 4, 5, and 6 is here's Aaron C.
Aaron standing with one end of the bat in each hand, listening for that base check. He's asking for a repeat on 3. He's going, whoo, it's a little hard to hear, he said. Ready for the pitch. And that's going to be a little high as it's kind of arcing over his bat, almost like a little arch or rainbow.
One strike. Wait.
And catching the end of that bat, going foul out on the first base side, about 40 feet past first base.
We may not see any home runs today with the wind blowing at a gale force and not quite as
Directly
high.
at him. Yeah, it's going to be pushing against that ball quite hard.
No, that's not quite what he asked for.
Kyle coming back up to talk to Aaron a little.
Jets looking for 1 out to get out of this inning with the lead.
Aaron retightening his batting gloves. Winding that bat back up and listening. He's going to catch a pop of that and land at Kyle's feet before rolling to the left. Braden picking up the bat to hand that back to Aaron.
3 strikes. Wait.
Kyle telling him he's good. And a little late on that swing. That will be out as the Jets were hoping for to come back in to bat.
And that ends the inning, so the Jets maintain a 2-run lead. They've led all along. They scored 3 in the first and 4 in the second. The Edge scored 2 in the first and 3 in the second. And as we go to the top of the third, we're joined on my left here by President of the National Beat Baseball Association, Jerry Wendell. And Jerry, inviting you into the booth here, I would rattle off all of the different positions and jobs and roles you played in the NBBA over the last 40 years, but they are so numerous that I can't remember them all. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell folks here a little bit about your career leading up to now?
Well, thanks for having me. Started in 1982 with a player with the, I guess we were called the Indy Bats then, and changed our name to Indy Rebels in 84. And after that, went and played for Albuquerque for 4 years, where I was part of 4 championship teams. Then I got married and went back to Indianapolis as far as playing, and became the full-time pitcher with the Indy Eagles, and we won a championship in 90, finished second in 91. And then at that point, pitching was a great thing to do, but playing is a different activity, so I got back to playing, and pretty much was a player for most of my career after that, with a number of teams, Chicago, Denver, Oklahoma City, back to several teams in Indianapolis, and so that's pretty much been the whole career.
Why don't you stick around with us for a little bit here in the top of the third, and we'll chat as we bounce it back over to Rosina. Do we have the mandatory 5-minute water break for this game, Jerry?
It doesn't appear
no,
so.
I don't think so either.
Okay,
we'll leave that up to the people in charge of the game, but I would doubt it.
We had that earlier this week, so we'll just keep rolling along as as the top of the third goes on. Looks like they're getting set up here now.
And we do have the Edges out in the field doing their sound off. Started off by Eric Rodriguez. So we do have David is already up at home plate.
David Smith is 2 for 2 today.
Getting that base check now as he points to third. Bat up at the ready. Just dropping barely under that, maybe a quarter of an inch under his bat.
So we've gone from severe heat this week to severe wind.
Yep, and we will talk about that after this pitch.
Don't do anything halfway here in Oklahoma.
No.
Ready for the pitch. Just catching an edge of that as it rolls back into David's mitt.
So, Jerry, talk about, this is your first World Series as NBBA president, having been elected in Beaumont last year. And there's been some challenges, some scheduling changes. Just talk about how you think, given the givens, this World Series has played out.
You know, everybody has a different opinion of what we could have done about the weather conditions here this week. You know, you can make as many plans as you want to, but you never really know what you're going to face until you actually face it. After the World Series is complete, I'll be writing up my comments on what all transpired this week because of the weather and why the decisions were made as they were. But believe me, when you're putting on a tournament, there's a lot of things to be coordinated. The facility that you're using, the local governing body as far as guidance concerning heat.
There's one out and a strikeout by David Smith as we play here in the top of the third with the Jets leading 7-5. One out now. Axel Cox coming to the plate as we continue on with President of the National Beat Baseball Association, Jerry Wendell. Jerry, your tournament committee, headed up by our first vice president and tournament director, Cassie Hopkins, has been working in conjunction with Visit Norman and this complex all week. Talk about them.
Well, the complex has gone out of their way to make the fields available at whatever times that we've needed them within reason.
It's going to be a grounder over to Eric Rodriguez as he drops down in front of it. Bounced off his knees, though, but he did recover, and that is an out. Another one by Eric Rodriguez.
Again, he recovers knowing how to position his body. You know, Jerry, we've got some of the best players in the NBBA right here on this field today. We saw more of them yesterday. 19 teams here. Talk about the players in this league.
You know, we probably have the highest level of players at this point in time that we've ever had in the league. We've always had good teams and good players, but we've never had as many teams with as much depth as we have today. I know back when I first started, we were lucky to have 2 or 3 really good players on a team, and now you have teams that have 7, 8, 9, 10 good players, and players who are really having to compete for starting jobs.
Will Lopez getting a connection out into left along the third base. Eric running over there, popped out of his hands, and he is going to be safe. That is a run for Will Lopez, and the Jets barely getting out of Eric's hands. An
important 2-out run for Will and the Jets, as they hadn't put one on the board yet this inning. That stretches the lead back to 3-8-5 as we play in the top of the second, visiting with NBBA President Jerry Wendell. And Jerry, you know, we have had more exposure both on a local and national level leading up to this World Series than I think I have ever seen before. What do people who may be seeing this for the first time and thinking about supporting or donating or getting involved, what would you like them to know?
Well, first thing is, just because a person is handicapped doesn't mean that they're not as competitive as anybody else, and that they work towards the sport as hard as anybody else. These people, most of them have full-time jobs as well as training, several hours a week to become, an excellent beat ball player. it's a game like any other game. You have to work to be good at it.
Oh, hitting Jeremy right in the stomach, so that will bring Double A back to the plate.
He took one in the face yesterday. Thankfully, he was wearing a mask.
But basically, just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you still can't compete at a high level, whether it's in competition that's specific to the visually impaired or blind, or even competing out in your local communities with other able-bodied people.
So we wait for this next pitch. 2 outs, 1 in the top of the third. 8-5 San Antonio.
And ready. It's going to be a high pop-up out into short center.
Good hit.
They're going to
Corian.
Nick Mulheron over there with his hands on the ball, and he is out.
Nick cut that off. Good play by Mulheron. And that will end the top of the third. Good inning of defense for the Edge. Only 1 on the board for the Jets. Edge coming up, bottom of 3. 8-5 San Antonio. We'll talk to Jerry for a little bit longer as the teams change up sides. Jerry, as we look to the future of the NBBA, in your stint as president, what are some goals, short-term and long-term? Where are we trying to get as an organization, and what would you like to see happen in the years coming?
Well, we need to obtain more corporate sponsorship or large grants from organizations in order for the NBBA to be able to help out its current teams, development of new teams, and develop the youth so that we get more people in playing this game, because people play this game from the time of their teens up until some into their 60s. But we need to get more people involved on the playing side as well as the volunteer side. But I think having large corporate sponsorship will do a lot for the league as far as being able to, spread our vision.
Jerry Wendell, you've done a great job as president. Your executive committee has done a fantastic job running this tournament, and we had enjoyed visiting with you. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the game. Maybe if there's a second game, we can bring you back again and visit some more.
Thanks very much.
Jerry Wendell of the National Beat Baseball Association, our president and chair of the board. Well, Rosina, we head to the bottom of the third here.
It's a hit by Corian White. That is going to be foul just beyond first base.
If you'd like to donate or support the NBBA, go to nbba.org/donate. We are a 501 not-for-profit 501c3 corporation. Your donations are tax deductible, so hit us up. We depend exclusively on support from volunteers and fundraising.
Another foul bouncing over to the Edge Benz for Corian.
Edge have a golden opportunity here as the Jets only put 1 on the board in the top of the third. It's a 3-run spread.
Corian stepping back up to the plate. Kyle asking him to open up just a hair. And it's going to be a strike because that goes under the bat by about 2 inches.
Always nice visiting with Jerry Wendell. Jerry and I were teammates for several years, both with the Indy Thunder and the RHI Extreme.
Oh, Kyle accidentally dropping the ball there as he was flipping it around.
He used that rosin bag last year. We haven't seen that this year, Rosina.
I have not seen it at all week. That was a pass there for Corian.
Of course, it hasn't been as humid this week either as it was in
Very
Beaumont, so
dry.
maybe they don't need it.
And again, dropping underneath that
Struck
pitch.
him out.
So that will be an out for Corian and the Edge.
That's a tough start here to the bottom of the third. Now you get Eric Rodriguez in the top of the lineup.
We do have the 10th next to us. As I said, it was falling apart earlier, and there are 2 bars that have now broken due to the wind on the tent next to us. Base check for Eric, giving a quick nod to Kyle that he is ready.
They're doing a good job playing through the wind, though, I must say.
Just getting a taste of that before it drops down.
I don't know that I can remember a more windy championship game than this one. In all my time with the league, which began in 1999, Rochester, Minnesota once year was pretty windy.
And it's going to be a pop-up over and left, going over to Will Lopez. He's got his body
got
on
it.
it. Does he have it? He has
He
out.
got it.
Will
Will.
Lopez.
Oh boy, Jet Life defense doing it from all places. It's not just Castaneda and Arambula this game.
Definitely buckling down all across the field. They're going to try and hold him here as they only got 1 run at their at-bat. They're going to be desperate to hold that edge since the Edge has that last at-bat.
The Edge have excelled at scoring with 2 outs in this tournament. And there's 2 outs now, no runs in, and Nick Mulheron with a critical at-bat. Jets lead by 3.
Getting that base check after the field is good. Nick ready for the pitch. And just barely catching a snick off of that ball. A little hair shave. Hard pop-up high into center. It's going to be, dropped right down in front of Axel. Went behind him, and he's going to be safe. He had the ball, but not up in time. That will be a run for Nick.
Yeah, it was a bomb. Axel got behind it, man. He made as good a play as he could on that ball in the air and in the wind. Nevertheless, critical run and a clutch pitch for Kyle Kennedy. The Edge get a 2-out run here and close the gap to 8-6. So they matched the Jets for this inning and brought Corey White up to the plate. Corey scored his last time up on a ground ball that he just flat out beat out.
I'll confer really quick with the umps out in the field here. Jason is running out to confer with them out in the field.
They're going to talk about it. I think they're going to stick with this call, but we'll see. Kyle seemed to think so.
Kyle was talking with his bench. He is now back out on the field as Jason and Jaden confer out in the field.
Kyle was reassuring his bench that safe was going to be the call. We'll see if it's wishful thinking or not. There's been 1 reverse today already and 1 confirmed.
Headed over here now to first. That was a quick conference right there.
Safe was the call on the field.
Safe,
Yes.
it will hold. Jets will need to buckle down here on the defense and try to get this last out to hold them at the 1.
8-6 now, your score.
Corian swinging the bat across home plate. Opening up just a hair to Kyle. Now back to the plate. And feeling for home plate. His hands are off just a little. I believe it. Yeah, now definitely hopping back a little as he relines up to home plate. It's going to be a grounder out just past Zach. It's going to be Will running over there to get to it. He's caught it with his feet, but he did not have it into his hands. That's going to be another run for the Edge.
Speed kills. Not enough time for Will there. Corey puts the 7th Edge run on the board. They've won their first inning of the game now. Cut into the lead. It's a 1-run game for Justin Holland.
Justin is up at bat, hoping to break this 1-run deficit. would tie up the game.
Oh, those 2 out runs. 2 more of them here in this inning for the Jets. For the Edge, Jets looking for that one last out.
Justin grabbing the tip of his hat there before pulling the bat up over the ear. Just underneath the bat by about 2 inches. Getting a grounder there right out to Ricky. Just past him, David Smith getting it, and he's out.
He's got
David Smith to bring the Jets in.
Second put out of the game for David Smith. He backed up his teammate Castaneda on the right side there. Got the put out, and the Jets still cling to the lead halfway through this first championship game. 8-7 San Antonio. Jets coming up to bat.
Halfway through this game, and it's just as close as ever. Kind of what I was anticipating, that it was going to be a back and forth game just like it was last time they met.
Want to remind you that this game and all of our Game of the Day streams from throughout the week will be available on demand at your viewing and listening convenience on our YouTube channel, National Beat Baseball Association, Facebook at NBBA 76, and our website at www.nbba.org. John Lykowski Jr. is our social media specialist. He's been the one posting all of those great photographs throughout the week. Go to NBBA 76 on Facebook to see his photography. John Lykowski Jr. of Lykowski Studios, Chicago, Illinois, USA.
Edge is almost set up out in the field to get this game on in play. Little Ricky Castaneda up at bat for the Jets.
Well, he's been doing a lot of coming to bat with 2 outs in the inning and being productive. Now he gets to lead off an inning.
Do have the bases are starting to sway in the wind again as the gusts pick back up. Umps now have their hands on the top of the bases to hold them. Jaden make his way out to far center field.
The Jets have never trailed yet in this game. They've led by as many as 5. They now lead by the slimmest of margins, 8-7, as we start the latter 3 innings of this 6-inning affair.
Getting base checks. And ready for the pitch. Ricky already having the bat. Nope, as relaxing now. As Jason has Aaron C. put his mask on and step back into the batter's circle. Getting another base check. Just underneath the swing. Just over the top.
He's still having a little trouble finding Castaneda. Castaneda did score once today. He's also struck out.
And getting a piece of that, but going foul on the Edge bench.
The biggest news of the day is Castaneda doesn't have a putout yet. He hadn't had a lot of chances over there.
Most of them have gone center and left. Getting a piece of that over the top of Jeremy's head, center. Corian dropping his body a little late on that, and that is going to be safe for little Ricky again. Always squeaking through there.
The middle of that Edge defense has had some issues. That's been sort of an Achilles heel up to this point. Corian very good, but that's not ordinarily his position.
So this is Zach coming up to the plate as you hear sounding off, if you can hear it through the wind, from the Jet bench over there. This is Zach Arambula.
What do you know? Castaneda finds another way to score. He's 2 for 3 on the day. 9-7 Jets.
Base check. Gonna pop off right over here to Jason on the right.
We have a lot of people watching this stream, and in addition to all the spectators that are here today, all around the world they're watching, including over in Taiwan, where they stayed up late for us.
It's going to be a little grounder just barely past Jeremy, about 10 foot out. Eric trying to run up there. He is going to be safe. His body was on it, but he didn't have it pulled up. Eric very frustrated as he throws the ball down, and his left hand grabs his hair on top of his head, walking back into position. Another run for the Jets.
If there's one thing that E-Rod hates, it is being on the short end of a close play, which he was there. That was tough, though. That was right toward the line. And Eric's made a few good ones today, but that's a run. 2 in a row to start the inning. A Jet Life rally going on in the top of the 4th.
With David Smith up, waiting for that base check as he points towards each base.
Smith has not been retired yet.
And high pop up. It looks like it's going to come down almost right on top of Eric. Oh, just right in front of him. He's got to corral it and get a hold of it. But David is already there. Another run for the Jets.
Oh, it just skipped around. Again, Eric made a great play on the ball. Like you said, almost landed on him. The idea on a pop-up is not to try to catch it, not in this sport, because chances are it'll bounce behind you, and then it's tough for your teammates. What the idea is to get as close as you can to that ball, but stay behind it and try to hover over it, try to get it to bounce up into you. That's how they teach it. It's tough on these fields, though, with the way these balls bounce. 3 in a row in, it's 11-7.
Axel just on the outer edge of his bat.
4-run lead, as the Jets found out yesterday against this team, though enough is never enough when the Edge have the last at-bats.
High pop-up is going to be over into left, though, just about Eric Rodriguez area as he comes up on that ball. And he's got it, and he is out. He's not going to miss on that twice in a row.
Testing Eric is one thing. Trying to pick on him and hit balls over there over and over again is a bad idea because he gets them more often than not. 1 out as he puts out Axel on a good play because that was a pop-up, too. Boy, things are heating up here in this game.
Axel hurrying off the field there as he claps Jeremy's hand coming through to his bench. This has Will Lopez up on the plate.
You're seeing both of these teams start to settle into this game, and it's becoming what you would expect from a high-level championship game.
Going to be a nice line drive, drops to a grounder, but it's straight into Eric, and he's got that again. Angrily, almost tossing that ball in as if to say, you're not getting me.
Yeah, try me again, that's fine. Hit it here all you want. They've been hitting it there all inning long here. He's gotten 2 of them. And now Almanzo will come to the plate.
Quick grip. Hear that Eric hollering out there for the Edge.
Well, they hit 1 ball up the middle and scored, and then they've hit the last 4 all over and around E-Rod.
Getting a call for that new ball. Jeremy holding that up for the outfield. First and third. Tap in front of home plate.
Almanza's the hot one. He's one of their hot ones right now.
It's a nice little grounder right along third base, but he is going to have to rush to get that. No, Eric is scooping that up.
How about a hat trick?
Well, little Ricky did that yesterday with his hat trick, and today it was for Eric.
So, 3 runs come in the inning. Not as many as the Jets wanted. They got them all 3 to start the inning. And then Eric Rodriguez with 3 consecutive putouts to put out the Jet rally. We go to the bottom of the 4th, Rosina. 4-run game, 11-7. Feels like deja vu all over again.
Certainly does. It's almost an exact replica, even down to the point of the Edge having the last at-bat. See if the Jets can keep a little more momentum and inch ahead maybe a little farther, or the Edge to make a clean sweep for another championship.
Want to give a shout out real quick to our NBBA officials. Scorekeeper Brad Farmer. Scorekeeper Shay Conway. Umpire Dave Taylor. Umpire David Robert. Scorekeeper Glenda Cole. She's the head scorekeeper for this championship game. Umpire Jaden Price. Head umpire Jason Price. John Lykowski, an umpire. Umpire Jordan Simpson. Karen Lykowski. Kemp Price. Kevin Miller. Linda Skaggs. Mark Hudson. Melanie Taylor. Mike Woodard. Missy Lykowski. Peggy Hurt. Ronnie Higdon. Sylvia Redmond.
Ready for Aaron C. at the plate.
Those are your umpires and scorekeepers.
And a little high again. It seems like he's arching over Aaron's swing there just a little bit.
And Jets have led throughout. Edge have been playing catch-up since the first, the opposite of last year.
It's going to be a little grounder foul on the first base side, rolling and tapping the center of the base. Aaron coming back up with Braden, the catcher.
Game's been moving right along here. Good clip.
Very quickly.
11-7.
Taking a pass on that.
And he slaps his thigh in rhythm with the pitch to let himself and the pitcher know, I've got your timing.
Kyle had him back out, open up just a little bit to him. He's gonna pop straight back to Braden. Quick tap to home. And at the ready. And again, catching and rolling off the top of the bat, back to the catcher.
Full count now, money pitch for Kyle Kennedy.
And almost taking off Kyle's head as it line drives right down the center. David scooting over there and easily popping that up in the air. I've gotcha. Slamming his fist against his chest. We have this.
Look at David Smith. 3 putouts in the game for the powerful hitter. Sometimes not as well heralded for his defense, but he has made a difference from that right wing position. 1 out, bottom of the 4th. 11-7 still, San Antonio. Corian White coming up.
Corian standing patiently as Eric hollers his name off from the batter's box. First and third base check. And it's going to be a bouncing little grounder right up short. Ricky rushing in for that. So is Zach Arambula. Little Ricky has it, and that is out.
There it is. Castaneda, welcome to the game. Ricky is the now 5th Jet player to record a putout in this game. Once again, they're all doing it. We saw this last night against the Indy Thunder when they held a team that had been averaging almost 30 runs a game to only 14 and got the win. They're doing it again today. Jet Life defense standing tall. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th.
Eric Rodriguez up, getting his base checks. A quick nod and a thumbs up to Kyle. Getting a piece of that is going to roll right back to your feet, DB.
And I've got a putout. Look at that. Hey! That's my first one of the week. I did it sitting down, and guess what, folks? That's why they're inducting me in the Hall of Fame later this evening. All right, enough about me.
Oh, catching a hard smash on that, way foul, but hard snap. It's still rolling out there from our previous field.
He ripped that one.
Take a bit to run that one in.
We will remind you, while I'm talking about induction ceremonies and the banquet, the NBBA Awards banquet will start at 7 o'clock. with the cocktail hour starting at 6 at the Embassy Suites. Hall of Fame induction ceremonies will precede the banquet. Scott Hudson already recognized. Tonight it'll be Bobby Lakey, Neil McDonald, and yours truly. So if you want to hear a boring speech,
it's going to be high up, pop up over into left, pass Zach Will running for it. It's past his hands, and that is going to be safe, putting the run up for the edge. They're not taking those outs, and they're not going to go down easy.
That is, by my count, the 6th two-out run of the game for the edge of the 8 they've scored, and it's 11-8, and that'll bring Mulherron to the plate.
He's already at home plate, setting up as Kyle walks it in.
Every
Shaking
run,
the hands
every put out.
Mike Malloy at his bench before he sits down.
Every run, every put out is so important here.
Nick ready for this pitch. A couple of swings across the plate.
Let's do this.
It's going to be a little grounder right out to Ricky.
Ricky.
Oh, it went past his feet. David Smith backing him up, and he's
Got him.
got it. He is out. They are on fire defense. They are working and talking. It's going to
Great inning.
bring them up, holding the edge.
Great inning for the Jets. 3 putouts. 3 different, 2 by Smith and 1 by Castaneda. Smith has now 4 putouts from that second level on the right side for the game. You don't see that very often. He's covering Castaneda and Arambula back there, shutting down toward that middle as well. Very well. It's a 3-run Jet lead as we go to the 5th. They need to keep adding on. The mantra for the Jets needs to be don't stop now, boys, because we've seen what the edge can do late in games. But this is Jets, sitting pretty now heading to the 5th.
Can't get too comfortable as they bring little Ricky up to the plate as Jeremy watches the edge defense take their positioning in place, tossing that ball hand to hand. Umps coming in, changing out position. Nobody's out there too long in any one spot to keep them fresh and aware. Jeremy putting on his face mask there as things are moving quite along. There's not a lot of pauses between these changes back and forth. Moving Miguel Tello up forward just a hair from where he was. Eric hopping up and down in his position as he's ready for game on to eat up some more front left field.
All right, here we go. Top of the 5th, Castaneda.
And it's going to be over the top of his bat by about 2 inches.
I have Castaneda at 2 for 3 today.
Just over the top of the bat again. Just over the top again.
He's just missing him. He's trying to get a pop-up. Now you take what you can get. He's fast. Nope.
And it's going to be right over the top, and that is going to be the first out for the Jets.
That's tough. That's the second strikeout for Castaneda now. All right, here we go. Now your big hitters have to come to hit here. Arambula, Smith, Cox here. You don't want to stop piling on runs here. Only a 3-run spread. That's nothing.
Not a comfort zone at all. Still danger. Jeremy rotating the ball in his hands, giving it a little tap. Just getting a piece of it, and it just drops down 1 foot. Checking out home plate for the second time there as he's come back. Slammer line drive out into right past Nick Mulherron. past Corey, and Vinny sneaked in. He's going to say safe. I am sure that this is going to be a contested call. This is going to be checked.
Is that Corey or Miguel back there?
That is Corey.
That's
over
Corey.
There on. Looks like they're not. That is going to hold then.
It's an important run for Arambula. Speaking of Miguel Tello, they have taken him out of the game twice here, the Jets have, by not hitting to him. He has been a non-factor.
Now he's patiently waiting out there in far center.
That could change in one at-bat, though. He's known to be a heartbreaker, especially against the Jets. That's why the Edge added him this year. That's why he's here, specifically for games like this.
David Smith with a pop-up over Eric's head into left. Justin almost falling backwards as he scrambles for the ball. It is gone. It's still rolling. That is a run for David Smith.
A monstrous fly ball to left for David Smith. 2 runs in here now for the Jets as they open it up again a little bit more. It's now 13-8. They've matched their largest lead of the game, Rosina, here in the 5th.
They're going to have to keep climbing forward, though. I have Axel standing with his feet on the edge of home plate. He's got his head and his kind of cheek leaned up tight against the bat as he waits.
Every run so important. Every out so important now. A championship on the line. The Jets want to play a second one.
Getting a piece of that, almost taking out Jeremy's feet as he runs towards first. It's going to go down the center, and Corey on just taking that up.
At the time, Corey on was solid there.
It was almost a hesitation there on Axel on which way to run. He didn't run towards third, but it was just a split second before taking off to first. I still don't think it would have mattered. I think Corey on had him quite easily. Bringing Will Lopez up to the plate.
They've scored a couple in this inning. They would love to get Will to base here and get Almanza up, who's been red hot.
Just barely over the top of the bat. Connection over into left, over to Justin Holland. And he's put it down, and I think he is out. I am sure he is out. Yes.
He did.
That is Justin Holland for the putout.
It's a big play for the Edge. First putout for Holland in this game. And the ends. Oh, no, that's the second out of the inning? No, that's three.
That's the third.
That's three. The PA announcer crossed me up there. He announced Almanza, but that is 3 outs.
Have the Jets headed out to the field. Edge eager to dig their teeth into this. They have this at bat and the next one. They're going to need to creep forward and take over control.
It is a 5-run spread right now. Jets lead 13-8 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Edge coming to bat. Me run down some final standings here while we have a couple of minutes. 3rd place in this tournament was the Indy Thunder. They lost twice, both to the San Antonio Jets. The BSO Philly Fire finished 4th. Boston Renegades 5th. Bayou City Heat 6th. You had the New Jersey Titans 7th. Houston Hurricanes 8th. Gateway Archers 9th. Tyler Tigers 10th. We'll go through the rest of them when we have a second.
This is Corey up to bat for the Edge as we get those base checks. The field is ready. High pop-up's going to be short over by Zach. If that stays fair. It's bouncing. He's got to get his hands on it, and he's already out the base. That is a run for Corey White and the Edge.
Corey White has scored his last 3 times at the plate. And the Edge cut into the lead a little bit now. It's 13-9, and Holland coming up. This was the part of the lineup that gave the Jets fits yesterday.
Justin Holland up at the plate as Zach's kind of bending that leg with his hand on his knee, still bending it kind of back and forth as he stands on his right leg. He was desperately trying to get a hold of that bouncing ball. And that's going to be just over the top of Justin's bat. Now we have a time for the airplane going by overhead.
Haven't heard a lot of those this week.
Did have that low helicopter yesterday, but not too many airplanes. We've had many more sirens than anything else. And even one beeping car in the parking lot.
I thought you were going to say even one beep ball team, of course. Sirens beep ball out of St. Louis.
Dropping down at his feet after a nick on that.
The Sirens are the all-female team, first in NBBA history to play in a World Series. They did not win a game, but they finished the tournament.
Adjusting it, it's going to come right back to us, DB. How it bounced off of the camera's tripod.
I was ready, Rosina.
Ready for another putout.
Justin Holland is ready at the plate.
Taking a pass on that as he has his front left foot up on, digging just the toes, ready for the swing. And that's going to go underneath the bat for a strike.
Struck him out. That's one of his big boppers. He just struck out there, so that matches the strikeout of Castaneda in the top half. Kennedy and Lopez have been pretty much even in that regard, both pitching very well. The difference so far has been a stingy Jet defense. They're going to need to keep that up now with Aaron C. Jets still lead by 4. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. You got the bottom of the edge lineup up right now. Jets need to buckle down here.
Aaron bringing the bat up and around as he leans his left ear to Kyle. It's going to pop up over here to Jason Price again. And that seemingly traditional first pitch that Kyle has to Aaron, it seems like they arch just a little bit on his first pitch to him, it seems like.
What? We got a lot of wind. Either they don't have to deal with it or we'll shut it down. No, you're good. All right. Yeah.
And that's going to be underneath the bat. Wind picking up once again. And taking a pass.
See, knew he took his pitch there. All right, now he's got a swing. See, had the tying run in that 6th inning rally against the Jets yesterday to bring Corian up for the walk-off.
And a solid connection right inside the first base line.
That's a tough play.
As both Double A and Little Ricky run for that. It was way out of their reach, giving another run to the edge as they creep up on the Jets. Was Aaron with Corian up.
So that's a 3-run game now. And Corian to the plate. And that assures that Rodriguez will get an at-bat in this inning here as we play with 1 out.
Corian has now put on a blue head covering over his head. Kyle with the ball up. It's going to pop right over into the edge bench. Caught by one of the spotters.
A little early there for Corian.
Back up at home plate, adjusting of the feet. And ready. It's going to be a grounder almost hitting Kyle. He jumps out of the way as it's in the center. Zach running up there. He's going to have to get to it quicker.
He got it.
And let's see.
I think that's an out. What's the
It was
story?
called out. I'm saying equipment malfunction.
Oh, did he call late base? I didn't hear him call late base, but in this wind. And wow.
Will have to come back up to the plate.
Well, that's unfortunate for the Jets, as it looked like they had that put out there.
That was little Ricky up front there. He scrambled over to center to snag that up. But that will bring Corian back to the plate.
He does not get a new count, though, just a new pitch.
He's down on his knees, feeling at home plate, giving a quick clap.
You know what happened was the base fell over while during the play.
It is very gusty here.
So he didn't have to call a late base. He didn't call one. It wasn't late, but it
Fell over.
blew down. Much
Getting a
like
check on
sometimes you can't put the ball on the tee in football for the kicker to kick off when it's real windy. You have to have somebody come out and hold it for the place kicker. Sometimes you have to have them hold the base.
Taking
took
a
that.
pass.
Which is scary for a volunteer, because then when they truck down there, they got to jump out of the way pretty quick.
Well,
Let
we
'em
do
hit the
have all
base.
our official umpires out on the field today, so I'm pretty sure that they're a little more prepared for this.
Sure.
Gonna pop right back to our feet again.
Was that you or me that
That was
time?
me that
was
time.
you.
Caught my calf, and I caught it with the other foot.
Nice play. You've been stopping the ball with your feet all week long.
Well, if my hands can't catch it, maybe my feet will.
Pretty impressive.
It's going to be foul over on the third base side as it goes over toward the Jets. I think there was some question of if he had taken a second pass ball on that, but
How you haven't risked a fractured toe yet making those plays is beyond me. You're pretty brave. I wouldn't do it with flip-flops.
wow, I'm a farm girl. I've done a lot worse than flip-flops. I've had my feet stepped on by cows and horses and
Oof.
anything you can think of. Kyle has the ball back, waiting.
Ball, strike. Play.
It's going to be a grounder out on the left. Zach running to get in.
He's got it.
And he's got it. He ran back to get his body behind it and snagged that up. I would not call that an easy out. He definitely
No.
worked for that.
No, good play. A la Eric Rodriguez. He kind of had to angle back a little bit and stuck with it in the moment and in the wind. 2 outs. Still a 3-run lead for the Jets here in the bottom of the 5th. Now you got to deal with
Rodriguez.
Erod. Yep. Now you got to deal with Eric Rodriguez.
And Nick on deck. Getting that base check. Little
And
Ricky hands down and prepared for anything possible.
the Jets, or the Edge, have scored majority of the runs with 2 outs. Ooh.
It's going to be a high and right foul, which is a good thing for Ricky and Aaron because they would not have got to that.
Just late on it as Kyle Kennedy quick pitched a little bit. No sooner did Eric have his bases, then all of a sudden Kyle threw the pitch.
They're moving along very quickly here, not giving the teams chances for any rests in between. Eric with a thumbs up to Kyle. Another thumbs up and bat at the ready. Popping up over to the score. Ah,
Ooh.
nope. Braden caught it on the very edge of his glove.
You want a catcher that's athletic, because the last thing you want as a pitcher is to be in rhythm and then have to wait for the catcher to return it to you.
Slammer down on the ground along left.
Tough
Zach
play.
running for that. Will Lopez coming up behind him, not in time. It's going to be a run for the edge. Eric Rodriguez.
That's a tough play. That'll cut it to 2, 13-11. Another 2-out run in this game for the Indy Edge, who are fighting off the ropes again. Mulherron coming up.
Seems to be a trademark play here for them. Coming up, maintaining, not letting someone get too far ahead, and then just gobbling up, sliding in to win.
If you want to beat the champions, you've got to knock them out.
Nick Mulherron with that base check. Oh, almost taking off Kyle's head, ducking as it goes out into
Somebody's gotta cut
center.
that off if they
Axel
can.
over there,
He did.
and easily sliding in front of that ball.
Cox up with the ball, and the inning is over, and the Jets hold the lead. 13-11 as we go to the 6th inning. They need some insurance now.
They're going to need a lot of insurance here. These 2 runs are not even beginning to be a comfort zone. I would anticipate wanting a good 6-8 runs up over the top of the edge. Even with their defense looking good, there's those little pockets they're finding. They want more of a pillow than that.
Jets led by 4 going to the bottom of the 6th yesterday, and it was not enough. The Edge came back and got them 25-24. Here it is 13-10. Almanza, Castaneda, and then back to the top with Arambula due up for San Antonio. We gave you places 3 through 10 in this tournament. We'll rattle off 11 on down real quick. Chicago Comets 11th, Austin Blackhawks 12th, Cleveland Scrappers 13th, Atlanta Chaos 14th, Oklahoma Lookouts 15, 16 was the Minnesota Millers, the SGV Panthers were 17, Braille Bandits of Palm Beach County 18, and Sirens Beat Ball out of St. Louis 19th. Here we go, top of the 6th, Rosina. 3-run game, everything on the line for San Antonio.
Edge is out in the field, almost set up as Jets are already digging in to get those runs on offense. Jeremy patiently waiting. Jason talking to catcher David for the Jets. Our umps are moving around out in the file.
No more. All right, 13-11 is the score. As I'm shooing people away from our booth here because I keep getting my shoulder tapped on, and I want to focus on our audience in the game. Here we go, 13-11. I said 13-10 earlier. It's actually 13-11.
Getting that base check. Aaron AA up for the Jets. It's going to be foul smacking as he twists so far around. He actually has to stop himself from tipping over with his hand before trying to run to the base and only getting 1 step.
We've got a mass of people, both behind here by our scorer's tent, down both sidelines. Which sideline would you say is more full, Rosina?
I'd say it's about equal, actually. They're kind of clustered a little more tight on the Jet side, strung out a little bit more on the edge, kind of spaced further. Up, popping right back up for Aaron. And that's going to be a strikeout. That is rough for Aaron. You can see Eric Rodriguez out there hopping up and down, pulling his knees up in joy.
That's 1. Can't have it. Got to put the ball in play. Castaneda's been coming out big in big moments all week long. They need him again now.
Need him to pull through, get a run up, and stop the bleed of outs.
Precarious 2-run lead right now.
Jeremy pulling that mask back down before stepping up. getting a little tip on that as it drops over to Jason.
He's right there. Now Castaneda has scored twice, but he's also struck out twice in this game.
Just underneath the bat. More dust cloud moving in. It's going to be a short pop up into short right. Nick Mulhern coming up to scoop for the ball, and he is out. Nick Mulhern.
He came up and scooped it and just got Castaneda. 2 outs now for the Jets. Zach Arambula, their captain, their cornerstone, one of the founders of the team, former offensive MVP, last year's inductee into the Hall of Fame, one of the biggest at-bats now in his career, as the Jets need more runs here, only leading by 2. 2 outs in the top of the 6th, looking to force a second game.
Twisting the bat over home plate. This is a critical at-bat for the Jets. Solid grounder. It's out on the left. It's going past to Eric, and it's over to Justin.
Nope.
And he is safe. That is the call
through.
from Jason Price is safe.
The Edge don't sound like they're making much noise, so I don't think that they're not protesting this.
Yeah, I could not see him actually hit the base. Just saw the call.
It was just beyond the reach of Eric Rodriguez and Justin Holland. A huge run and a 3-run cushion now.
Not much of a cushion with Edge stalking behind you in the shadows.
But here's David Smith now, who would be right now my front runner for player of the game if the Jets hold on and win and force a second game. If there is a second game, it would be a half an hour after this first one.
Gonna be underneath the bat.
They need a big fly from Smith. He's gotten one of them today, but they could use another real good hit here.
Strong exhale. Just barely catching a piece of that as it drops straight down.
2 strikes. Is this where Tello has to make a play? If Smith bangs one high, hard, and over that direction.
And there it goes. Far deep center. It's out past Tello. It's going.
That's a run for sure, but is it dead?
There is.
Did he kill the ball?
To see if it's dead.
Oh, would that be unfortunate?
Leaving the base on, that is the check.
Oh, he crushed it, Rosina. It was a no-doubter, but it wasn't far enough to be a home run. Otherwise, it wouldn't matter. And if this is dead...
Dead ball.
It is. Oh, it is. What a break for the Indy Edge. Oh, my goodness gracious.
David coming back up. Gonna have to repeat. Tello doing a nice little somersault out there on the field.
Tello probably just heard that one whistle on by him, but it was dead.
Jason Price smiling as he comes back up, and they will have to get another ball into play as Jeremy tightens up the strap on his face mask.
Oh, man, and Smith will have to come back with, I believe, a 1-strike count here. 2 strikes, 2-strike count, and do it again.
Jeremy's holding the ball up for the field.
Well, they got what they wanted there, but he crushed the sound out of it.
And just underneath, Eric hopping up and down out in the field.
Man, 3 strikes now on Smith. 2 outs, top of the 6th, 3-run lead.
Just staying alive with that little nick.
He had a long at-bat with 2 dead balls in the first inning and then scored. See if he can do it here.
high pop up. It's going to be over in the
Just
right,
landed.
dropping. And he is safe.
And a hoot and a holler from Jeremy Lopez. He knows he's just done it again with his slugger, long at bat. They survived the dead ball, and they've got a 4-run lead now. 15-11, San Antonio. What a clutch pitch by Jeremy Lopez, the second-year stud of San Antonio.
David clapping hands with Jeremy as he walks by slowly and in charge to his bench as we have Axel waiting at home plate. Eric doing a little 1-2 punch with his fists out in defense on short left.
Wow. Now Axel Cox.
It's going to be a little grounder right straight to Eric, though.
Oh,
Bounced off his
missed
legs
it.
over to his hands, and he still has him out.
Had his hands in the right spot. That's what we talk about, positioning. Get your body in the right spot. Nobody does it better. And that's the end. All right, here we go again, Rosina. Deja vu all over again. 4-run lead, 15-11, and guess who's coming up for the edge? If I have this right, it's going to be Corey White.
Sounds like it's Corey, I am sure.
Corey on. No, it's Corey White leading it off. It was Corey, Justin, Aaron, and Corey on that conducted the game-winning rally in the bottom of the 6th yesterday. They will be up again. 4-run game, bottom of the 6th. A Jet win means a second game. An edge win means a repeat championship. How do you like it?
This is intense. This is almost like basically a duplicate of the game that they had earlier.
Except without as many runs. That was 25-24.
That's not as high scoring, but the results coming out to work about the same. Edge last at bat. They have 3 outs to work with. This is Corey White. Edge going to be in super defense mode. And it's going to drop way low under his swing.
It only takes one.
Waiting for the
No
high
call time for
truck.
the motorcycle. The San Antonio Jets have been practicing all season long for this. So have the edge.
And it's going to be dropping low under the pit swing again.
Kyle's got to focus here. They need 4 to tie. See if he takes this.
Nope. It's going to drop low, almost landing right in front of home plate.
He hasn't touched one yet. I'd be a little concerned. Let's see if he takes this one.
It's going to take this one as the bat is down.
All right, 3 strikes, money ball now for Kyle Kennedy and Corey White.
And that's going to be an out for Corey White, bringing Justin Holland up. 2 outs to work with, that 4-run deficit.
So a Corey White strikeout to start the bottom of the 6th. Jets are 2 outs away from forcing the if necessary game. 2 eensy-teensy little outs, but still so far away.
Not so eensy-teensy when you're out in the field.
And Justin Holland is up at the plate. The league's home run king.
Popping right back up to us,
Look out.
into the chair right
I
next to you,
almost
DB.
caught that. Somebody took it away from me.
The chair took it away from you.
You gonna put out for that, DB?
No, the chair caught it.
No, I get a sore wrist. I took a shot, man. I almost caught that on the fly, guys.
High over into far right to Aaron. He's going to have to
Aaron.
bouncing. He's going to have to get there a little quicker. And he had his hand on it, but not lifted. That's going to be a run for Justin Holland.
You went opposite field. That's one. That's maybe the first real decent chance Almanza's had to make a play today. That makes it a 3-run game, 15-12. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is the Indy Edge.
Aaron C. with Corian on deck. Justin getting a call from his bench for heading in direction. See if this continues with this. Aaron, so far it seems like all of Kyle's pitches have been just a little bit arcing on his. Now he has a higher swing.
Well, because he's not their fastest base runner, and so he wants air.
And this time a connection right over onto the right.
Yeah, he was right on that. He wants air, but in this situation, you'll just take contact now.
And it's going to be foul on the third base side. Just barely caught that on the end of his bat.
Oh, man. He was a micrometer away from parking that thing somewhere.
Bringing the ball back in as Kyle walks down towards first base. Now has got it in his hand. Will Lopez hands up in the air out in far left.
15-12. This is the most low-scoring defensive battle that we have seen in any of our games of the day, I believe.
Gonna take this pass.
Oh.
Quick tap on home plate, a shrug of the shoulders, an ear to the pitcher.
So 2 strikes, 1 pass ball. Now he's got a swing.
And that's gonna be low under the swing.
All right. Money ball now. Full count pitch coming. Kyle Kennedy to Aaron C. 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. 3-run lead for San Antonio, trying to hold on.
And just underneath, that is another 2 strikeouts in a row on the edge on their last at bat.
2 strikeouts in the inning, sandwiched around a run by Justin Holland. Well, they scored 4 in a row with 2 outs to win it yesterday. They'll need 4 in a row with 2 outs if they want to win it now. And this time, instead of Corey, it starts with Corey on. It would finish with Corey. Let's see what happens as the drama builds.
Getting that base check.
Jets 1 out away from forcing a second championship game. Winner take all.
High pop up over in the far right over to Aaron again. They're gonna have to run and hustle.
He missed the
Ricky
base.
making, he's gonna be safe. They did not get to it in time. Little Ricky coming to run back as far as Aaron, not in time.
Oh, that was a bad base run by Corian, but another opposite field hit, just like Howland's. Second run of the inning. It's 15-13, and now here's the top of the order. Eric Rodriguez.
2 runs. Moving Aaron back a little bit.
They're asking to check that.
Gonna have a confirmation, headed out to the field. Jason going over to third base first.
If they reverse this, it's over. And we'll be going to a second all-deciding game. The last time we had 2 championship games on Saturday was in 2018 when the Heat stunned the Thunder in the first one, and the Thunder won the second one.
Headed out to the center outfield.
We had 2 championship games in 2017 when the Thunder won them both. Double dip Taiwan.
Not staying very long at any certain one. They are saying safe.
And they confirm the call. The game continues.
With Eric Rodriguez.
2-run game now.
And 2 outs.
Rodriguez up. Mulherrin is the tying run on deck. Corey White would be the winning run in the hole. They're going to make the Jets earn it here. Eric.
Going to be pop out right out, duplicate to Aaron. Double A right past his legs,
Oh, he
and
missed it
Rodriguez
again.
is on the base. That brings him up to 1.
3 runs in the inning, all to right field, all over to Aaron Almanz's side, who hasn't made a putout yet today.
It's been quiet out there all game, and now they are blasting it repeatedly over into right.
15-14, here comes the tying run with Mulherrin, Corey White on deck. This is getting dangerous. Both of these, in case you're keeping track, Mulherrin and Corey White, both have home runs in their career, both against the Jets.
Nick just waiting calmly and patiently at home plate as Kyle comes back around. Beginning that check on the field from defense. They are all going to have to be on their toes.
I wonder if they'll try to go over there again. They do practice opposite field hitting. Kyle Kennedy told me that.
Kyle stepping up.
They've
It's going to be a grounder.
No.
Ricky Castaneda trying to catch it. It is past David Crystal Smith, and that is going to tie up the game. A tie game, 15-15, Edge Jets with 2 outs, 1 to go.
They've all been to the right field side, all 4 runs in this inning.
This definitely feels just like the game they had earlier.
Well, if you're looking for deja vu all over again, Corey White ended the 2021 championship game walking, at that time, the Thunder off over the Jets. Here's Corey now, a chance to walk it off for a repeat title. It was his little brother that did it yesterday. Either Corey, there's 2 options here. Either Corey wins it for the Edge or we go to extras. 15-15, unbelievable.
Kyle coming up to have a little whisper there to Corey before heading back to his pitcher's spot.
Off the ropes, Edge fighting off the ropes again.
Kyle, a quick tap of the fist to the chest. And it's going to be low on the outside for a strike.
Corey did strike out to start this inning.
Taking that pass.
He's got a swing now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, tie game in the championship.
And it's going to be another strike because it goes under the bat. Corey telling him with his hand, hold it. Some adjustment of feet positioning. And it's going to be another strike because that goes over the bat.
Full count now. We've gone as far as we can go in this game. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, tie game, full count on Corey White. All comes down to this.
High pop up. It's going to take forever to come down. Dropping by Zalcomon. Oh! He is safe! Edge running out onto the field. Zach Arambula just narrowly missing that putout. Sitting on the outfield, just holding the ball in his hands before handing it slowly up to Jason Price.
It is all over. Once again, your champions, 2023, the Indy Edge. They defend their title. They repeat. They justify last year's championship. And Corey White, for the 2nd year in 3, has won the championship in the bottom of the 6th. This one wasn't a home run. It was just a nice, high pop-up that gave him time to get to the base. Corey White becomes the first player in NBBA history to win 2 championship games with walk-off hits, 16-15, elation for the Edge, and once again, heartbreak for the San Antonio Jets, who have finished runner-up for the 4th consecutive season.
Have the teams all lined up as they're doing their congratulations, good game here. Edge is closer to us with the Jets on the far side. Hearing a lot of hollering over there from Corey White as he was waving to the crowd right after he came back up from his hit. Shaking, waving, hand up, out.
Let's see if we can get Corey over here for a couple of words. Here he is, the walk-off again. 2 times in 3 years. This wasn't a home run. Another great comeback today. Your little bro did it yesterday. You do it today. There's a lot of people watching, Corey. Give us your thoughts right now.
Hit the ball. Hit the ball. All I needed was Eric and Nick to get me up, and I knew what time it was. I got up there, man. I was nervous, yeah. That's a big play right there, man. We got the dub.
When you got it on the air, did you feel like you had enough time to get down to the base? You were running like the wind.
Yes, I did. I felt like I got out the base really fast. On that base run, I knew I had to get there. So as soon as I felt the ball hit the bat, go. Time to go.
Corey, this is 4 championships in a row that you've had to play San Antonio. You've come out the victor twice with the Thunder now, twice with the Jets. What can you say about your opponents, the Jets' performance here in these 2 games this week?
Man, the Jets is a hard team to play, man. They give it their all every game, and that's what I love about them. They didn't have a lot of players this year, and I know they worked hard to get to the ship. We had a game with them yesterday. It was close. Another close one today. Man, I give it all up to the Jets, man. They're good. That's a good team right there, man.
Corey, I did a list a few weeks ago ranking my top 10 current players. You were number 1. You're my favorite player to watch. You gave it to the fans again. You said yesterday you had something for us.
Yes, I did.
And that's what you had for us. Congratulations, C. White.
Man.
Congratulations, Corey.
Go celebrate with your team. The Indy Edge, once again, world champions. David Benny here. I'm going to kick it to Rosina Foster to wrap it up. But thanks to Graham Mathena, Live Events Productions all week, my partner Rosina Foster, the players, and you, the fans.
Have the Edge out on the field right now as they all took out with their giant cooler full of ice water to dump that all over Steve Michaels out on the field, running around, hugging. They've got their music playing. Congratulations. Champagne bottles going everywhere. This has been a spectacular game and a wonderful World Series. Thank you all for joining us this year.